Hello everyone, happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a great Friday so far. I'm out of breath. I just ran around looking for some things for today's live, but we've got it now with my notepad. I couldn't figure out where I left it, but I've got it. Today I'm going to be showing off the new Creative Expressions layering flower dies, and I have a demo at the end, which I'm really excited about. I've got some stuff prepped for the demo right behind me. So with that being said, I might as well just jump into it. Put my camera down. Hopefully I don't sound too winded to you guys. All right, so these are all the exciting new products from Creative Expressions that have just arrived. So these are the new dies I will go through and show you guys. So we have a layered hydrangea, and you'll notice that the packaging is a little bit different. They've changed it from that hard plastic like this to just the plastic bags, which is so much better. I'm so happy that they've changed the packaging. It makes it so much easier to get this out. And then we have a tulip one here. And then on the inside, it also has the layering pieces as well as some samples for inspiration on the inside. Ooh, we've got the cone flower here. Gosh, I keep knocking that over. And then we have a aster flower here, and a rose or a garden rose. And we've got a magnolia. This one's so pretty. This one reminds me of like Hawaii in the tropics. This is a hibiscus. And then they also came out with some sentiments. We've got Just For You. We've got You're Too Kind. And again, these are layering dies. Sincere Thanks, For a Special Friend. And then we've got some adorable Jane's Doodles stamps. This one is my favorite. It is drawing to me. I myself love to go camping every summer, so I love this one. It's got the boat, it's got the tent, got some fishing stuff. And then we've got some, it's called the Birdsong Blooms. This reminds me of like Valentine's Day. It looks like two birds kissing here. And then we've got Plant Nursery for any plant lovers. I know my mom would be one of these. All right, let's get into the demo. So I'm going to be using the tulip, and this is a die cutting and embossing. All of the layering flower dies from this collection are all die cutting and embossing, which I love. It just adds so much more detail to your flowers. So I will get what I've prepped out. I have done a bit of inking ahead of time. And you'll notice that this mat I'm using is the Lisa Horton Tacky Mat. This should be on the website by the end of the day today or early next week. And then maybe next week I'll get more into this tool, which Marianne and I have been loving using. It's definitely got its use in the past couple weeks since we've had our sample here to play with. So all I've done is I've gone ahead and die cut in white cardstock, and then I ran it through my embossing machine, or the die cutting and embossing machine, a second time with a rubber mat. You don't need the rubber mat. It does the embossing without it. I just like to get that deeper embossing with the rubber mat. I don't actually know if it does anything, but I like to think it does. All right, so now let's get into the coloring. So for the colors that I have chosen for this, for the flower, I'm doing a variety of colors, and that is how you get that shadow and that shading. And I find it makes it look a bit more realistic. So I'm going to use Shocking Pink, Dusty Rose, Sugar Candy, and Antique Pink. So we've got Shocking and Antique there. And then I've also got Rhubarb Jam and Lagoon Berry for the darker at the end. And then I have got for my green, my tried and true. You guys have seen me use these colors a lot. This is the Margarita, Woodland Moss, and Garden Sage from all Lisa Horton again. I have been loving these inks and her brushes. So without further ado, we might as well get started. So I have kind of laid it out so you guys can see. These are the back pieces here that I have done. So these are going to be a little bit lighter than the front layering pieces, which I have shown right here. And then I've done quite a dark middle. So I'm going to start with the flowers. So I'll move that up so you guys can see it a little bit better. I should have opened a second one of these mats because I have a lot of inks I'm using. So I'm going to start with the Antique Pink and Dusty Rose. And I'll put those in my Lisa Horton ink tool here off to the side. It's kind of hard to see. I'll move that over a smidge for you guys. But I also need space here. Okay, so I'm going to take my largest Lisa Horton chunky brush, and I'm going to go into that Antique Pink. And I'm going to take a little bit off, and I'm just going to start inking over top of all of my flowers here. And this is a very light color, so I'm not afraid about going too heavy-handed with it. And I'm going to be adding more colors on top, so I don't want this to be too prominent. And I'm going all over the flower with this because this is my lightest color. I don't want to leave any white, but since this is my lightest color, I do want the top of the flower to have that light pink. And it'll create that shadowing look. So again, I'm just covering the whole surface of the flower. No particular rhyme or reason, just making sure that there are no white spots showing. Oops, I went quite heavy-handed with that. Should have dabbed a bit off, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. And then whatever's left over, I'll pick up some of that. All right, so I think I've got all of my flower covered the way I like it. Now I'm going to stay with the same brush. I'm going to go into the Dusty Rose, pick up some of that color and just take a bit off. And I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. And I'm not going to go to the very top because that is where I put my lightest color. And like I said, I want to go from darker to lighter. Did go quite heavy-handed on that last one, but that's okay because it's a front layering piece. Pick up some of that color. And again, just focusing on the bottom. Take a bit off. And mixing, I find that mixing all of these different colors together makes a beautiful color that makes it maybe a bit more realistic because of the shadowing and everything. Okay, so those colors I am done with. We've got the Antique Pink and Dusty Rose. Put those off to the side. Next, I'm going to use the Sugar Candy and Shocking Pink. I'm going to put those in my inking tool. Hi, Wendy. Love those brushes. They're on my wish list. I know, I'm obsessed with them. I love both of the chunky and the original size. I can't pick what one is my favorite, so I use both all the time. All right, so I'm going to go in with my Sugar Candy. Take a bit off, and then same thing that I was doing. I'm just going to ink, especially the bottom, and work my way up, but not all the way to the top. And I also kind of like to make the ends, the sides of the flower a bit darker as well. You'll notice that I am inking on this tacky mat, which makes it a lot easier. I don't have to worry about holding my little cutout pieces. It makes my life a lot easier. All right, and then we'll go back in with the next. Got Shocking Pink still. And then my last little petal here. All right, so now I'm going to go in with the Shocking Pink. Sorry, I think I said Candy Pink. I mean, sugar. Gosh, there's so many different words. I'm getting my tongue twisted. Hi, Bonnie. I used Sugar Candy. Now I'm using Shocking Pink. Sorry, a little bit confusing. By myself, I'm getting confused. There's so many colors here that I'm using. All right, so again, just focusing that on the bottom and working my way up. And then I just keep blending. And I'm going to go lighter handed on the ones that I know are going on the inside because those are usually a little bit lighter. Right. Now that I have done that, I'm going to go in with my darkest colors and I'm going to really add some shadowing there. So I'm going to move those aside. I'm done with those colors. So I've got my Rhubarb Jam and Lagoon Berry next. And I'm going to take a smaller brush. This one is slightly smaller. And I'm taking Rhubarb Jam. And I'm just going to go along the edges and the bottom. And this one I actually might add quite a bit because I do really want this one to be nice and dark. So I might add a bit more up at the top. Get some of that darkness back in there. All right, and then I'm going to go back in rhubarb jam, pick up a bit more, and do the other two flowers. And you can see, like, as I'm adding more colors, it's adding that shadow and the shading effect. I'll lift it up a bit closer to the screen in a second for you guys to see. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with an even smaller brush. I'm going to take the Lagoon Berry. It's a smidge darker. And I'm going to focus this right along the bottom edge. And I'm not going to ink too much. I'm going very lightly along the bottom. I'm going to move that upside down just so it's easier for me to blend. Pick up a bit more. There we go. And again, like you can see, I'm going up to the edges. I'm not going inside. I'm just going along the edges. Pick up my last color. And again, just focus that on the edges and the bottom. And then we will be moving along to the leaves, which again, my favorite green colors. And then I'm going to use the Lagoon Berry, but I'm going to get a bigger brush just because it's a little bit easier. And I'm going to do the centers of the flower with that color. So I'm going to take this big brush, go in with the Lagoon Berry, and I'm going to go quite heavy-handed, so I'm not going to knock any color off of it, like tap anything off. I'm just going to blend right over top because I want that dark purple. Again, just keep blending on top of all of those. This is definitely the easiest layer to color. All right, so that was easy. Now we're going to do the green. I'm going to take my bigger green brush. Actually, I'm going to move these colors out of the way. I'm done with those. So now I'm going to take the, oops, we've got Linda is watching. Hi, Linda. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a good Friday. I'm going to take Margarita, Woodland Moss, and my Garden Sage. And I'm going to use mostly my Margarita and Woodland Moss, and then we'll tap into the Sage a little bit at the end. So I've got those colored. I feel like I'm missing some. I guess not. All right. So I'm starting with my brush, and I'm just going to ink, again, kind of from the bottom to the top. And this is upside down. I gotta flip that over. And then same thing with the other one. I'm gonna go from darkest to lighter. And then the center, I want a medium darkness, and I'll pack more of that darker. I'm using just Margarita right now, but at the end, I'll pack more of that Woodland Moss and Garden Sage on to really add some more of that shadowing. So I'm just blending. Oops, I just tapped into Woodland Moss. I'm taking some of that off. I was not paying attention. And then my last little stem here, which is sticking to my finger. All right, now I'm going to go into Margarita. I'm going to take, or not Margarita, I'm putting Margarita away and adding my Garden Sage. And I'm going to tap into Woodland Moss, take a bit off my brush, and then I'm going to add that over top of the Margarita color. Sometimes I will literally mix the two colors on the same brush, but this is another way of doing it if you're worried about messing up your ink pad colors. And you could even go in with a different brush. I'm just using the same one because it doesn't really matter to me. And then Woodland Moss. And then I'll go in at the very end with a smaller brush and do the Garden Sage because it's a darker green. I've got a smaller brush here, some of that Woodland Moss, and I am going to grab that Woodland Moss and dip it into the Garden Sage. And then I'm just going to add that to the bottom and kind of brush it up. All right, and then once I'm satisfied, I'm pretty well done. Just tap in a bit more of that color. All right, that looks good to me. All right, so we're done with that. I'm going to put my ink pads away so they don't dry out. And then I'm going to just wipe up my surface a bit so I don't get anything inked that I don't want. And again, for those asking about this mat, this hopefully will come with our next order, which hopefully we will have in the next 2 weeks. It's a hot commodity, this mat. Hi, Lisa. Happy Friday. Oh, hi, June. All right, so now I'm going to layer the flower. And I'm going to use this as a reference. This is my first time actually using these, so this could go either way. All right, so what I'm going to start doing is piecing my flower layers together. So I know that this is an outside. I could go on here or on here. I think I'm going to do it on here and then add the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of glue wherever I put it. I'm going to add it to the front because this is going to get hidden anyway. Just makes it a bit easier to find out where exactly it's being placed. So I'm going to layer that on there, and then I will put some glue on the back of that and layer that on top of my flower. And the embossed lines line up so you can actually see that this goes on top of the right one. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. Got some glue on my mat there. And then we'll do the next flower. So I'm going to do the same pieces I just did. I need to pick that up. It would be easier if I used tweezers probably, but it's okay. I'm not afraid to get my hands messy. That one. And then again, some glue on the back of this. And I'm going to stick this one on the back of this guy here. It doesn't have to be perfectly placed. I actually kind of like to offset it a bit more because I find it adds a bit more oomph to it. Right, now we'll do the next one. So again, I'm going to add some glue to the front of the centers. Oh, it's quite a bit of glue, but that's okay. I'm going to put that like that. Only a little bit is showing out of that one. And then again, I'm going to put some some glue on the back of my flower and layer that. Maybe I want to layer over this one. No, this one. And then layer that. You could also use 3D foam pads. I was debating on using that, but I think since there's already layers to it, it already looks dimensional as it is. And then we'll take this one. Add that to this front. I'm going to actually stick it out a bit further this time. And then same thing, just repeating the same steps. The back of that. All right, and then my last ones here, I could layer them over top of each other and move it down a little bit. These two aren't necessarily supposed to be layered on top of each other, but I'm going to. So I'm going to take this center, put a bit of glue on the bottom. This was my front piece, so I'm going to have that sticking out like that. And then some glue on the back. And I'm going to put it on the middle because the bottom will be probably moved down a bit. So I'm going to put that like that. Hopefully that still looks like a tulip. All right. Now we are going to build onto our card base. So I've got just an embossed card base here, and we are going to add our flowers. So I'm going to start with a stem, and I'm going to just glue it. Oops. Should have used sticky specs. I'm going to stick that there. And then I will add a second stem beside it. I'm going to have them all coming out from the same base. Hopefully it'll work out. Coming out of a pot, a flower pot would be pretty cool as well. That. And even if you added grass along the bottom would be nice. I just did not prepare for that. And then a bit of glue again. Stick that coming out this side. And then I have a different one here, which I actually did not plan for where I want to put for, so I should have done that. Maybe, I'm conflicted. I can layer them. Do that. Glue there. I'm going to have it actually sticking up over top. And then my other long piece here, have that actually going this way. And then I have got one more of that kind of squiggly. It reminds me of a pea pod for some reason, like a pod of peas. Just the shape of it a bit. And a bit of glue there. And we'll stick that right there. I don't know how that's going to look. I should not have done that, actually. I'm totally messing this up now that I'm realizing. I should stick this further up, actually. I needed to create some more layers, which I didn't realize and think about. I'm maneuvering this a bit. I'm going to stick this. I'll lift up what I just glued down. And I'm going to attach that because I want it a bit taller. I was not planning ahead of time in my head. You guys probably do this a lot too. You place it down and go, oop, I did not mean to do that. Maybe I shouldn't have gone so far ahead of myself. There we go. Okay. We'll see how this looks. So this is a funny looking base. Do you ever put glue dab on your glass and then run your seams through it rather than... Oh yes, I do run the glue. Yes, I'm not good at applying my glue there, Wendy. All right, so now what we're going to do is add our flowers. I'm just going to eyeball what I want to do here. I should have cut more stems. I did not prepare for myself. Okay, a bit of glue here. I'm going to put this one on this petal here, that stem. This one I'll put in the center. I mean, I know tulips sometimes do go all over the place like this because I have seen them on my counter going all crazy different ways. And then I'll put that one there. And the last one. I will put that down a bit. All right. Hopefully you guys think that looks good still. I kind of butchered that a bit, but you get the idea if this maybe looked a little bit more pleasing. Let's add a bit of leaves. Let's see if I can fix this and add some leaves. Right. I totally forgot about the leaves, so hopefully this will save me. I'm going to add a leaf like that. And then I will have one coming out here. Let's see if I can stick that in. Yeah, that works. I think that works. And then we will do another leaf, try and see if I can cover some more of my craziness here. Stick that. Maybe that looks okay there. I'm just guessing at this point now. And do a bit more straight up. And my last leaf, I will do this one maybe to cover my base a bit. All right. Well, you guys got to learn what maybe not to do and what to do with inking, but maybe the placement of my flowers is not great. Leaves make a difference. Yes, they definitely did. All right. So, oh, I missed one. How did I do that? There was one hiding. Okay, now where do I put this? Now I've got another dilemma on my hands that I was not ready for. Okay, let's see. Maybe I will put that there. There we go. I think that may have helped. All right. Now I'm going to put my sentiment on. So I have already pre-cut, and I'm just going to ink this with, what color do I want to use? Let's do a mixture of the Lagoonberry and Sugar Candy, because they've got the two reddy and purple tones, so mixing them together might look good. Take my big brush. Oh, I should have gone with the lighter one first. My lighter one, and then the darker one. And I'm going to take a bit off and blend. This is one of my favorite ways to create the backgrounds. Oh, I keep doing that. Going in the darker one first. That's how you mess up your ink pad colors. But I like doing this because it ties in the colors nicely from the sentiment onto the flowers themselves. Oh, I keep doing that. I need to put that one there because I keep going for the left first. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now I'm going to, I've already cut out, and I'm going to make it white, my sentiment, to kind of match my background. So I've already cut it out, and I actually used the die cut and bond tape from Couture Creations. You can see it on the back there. Looks nice. Thank you, Lisa. And I'm going to take my Studio Light little poker tool and poke that out. Hopefully I don't have ink on my hands. And this says, just for you. Right. Got just down. Now where did it go? There we go. Whoop. Now 4. I love the layering dies from Creative Expressions because if you've got a busy background, it makes it a lot easier to add a sentiment because then you can still see the sentiment if it's on a solid color. Kind of helps with those busy backgrounds. And you. All right, so we've got just for you. I wonder if I should add that at the bottom. I actually like that. Instead of at the top, I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll just cut it into a smaller card. All right, let's do that. And I think I might 3D foam pad it as well. I do have sticky stuff on the back, but I'm just going to use some 3D foam pads. And my trusty Studio Light hook. Hopefully they stick to the back. Oh yeah, they will. See, you know, sometimes mistakes can make your card even better than you planned for. All right, now we're going to remove all the backings, which is going to be difficult because I've got the sticky. I'm going to have to remove this sticky sheet because I've got a sticker and this is sticky. You guys are watching me struggle today, but what's new? All right, now we're going to have to add them onto the sticky side because it was not sticking before. All right, one more. Now I can remove the backings. Maybe. There we go. Last one. And we'll add that to the best of my ability to the center. Add that there. And then I'm going to cut, I'm going to cut that top down. I'm going to wipe this up just very quickly so I don't ruin anything because I have put quite a lot of effort into that card. Grab my little cutter. Cut the top off. There we go. You could mount that on like a piece of green or pink cardstock would be really pretty. This is the finished card. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys learned something. I'm quite happy with how it turned out because I kind of placed these a little bit wonky, but you know, I'm very happy with how it turned out. And these are so pretty. I really want to do, I was doing the cone flower out there. So maybe if I get that done, I will post that. But yeah, I'll put this on a backing and post that for everyone. But adding some sparkle onto the flower. I brought a winkle in. Not a winkle. All right. And then just add some like sparkle to where the embossed areas are. You could do it with glue as well. It'll just make it pop a bit more. I don't know if it'll really pick up on camera right now. Or even adding sparkle to the centers of the flowers would be really pretty. All right, so that was the card. And before I go, I want to let everyone know that we have our next card class on the website now. So this is what you guys will be making. It is called Snow Day. And inside, once you open it up, it's hard to see it from that side, but it stands up like that. Super adorable. And again, that's the front. You can stand it up like that. And you guys will get everything you need to create the card, except for obviously like the coloring material, which I'm sure you guys have things you guys can color with at home. And then some tape and ink or tape and glue you guys should have at home as well. So that is going to be in store. It'll be February 21st and then February 28th for the online. You'll get the 2 dies and the paper for it. And then we will have some fun. That is with Mary Ann. And lastly, I don't have anything else to show, so I'll flip it back to my camera so you guys can see my face. We have daily deals going on. So that just started today. It is in the working process stages still. So if there are any issues with it, don't hesitate to let us know because we are still working out all the kinks. So we've got 4 products on the .com and .ca. And every day, I think around noon for now, is when the daily deals will be changing. Once we kind of get some of the kinks worked out, we'll be switching it to midnight is when the daily deals will switch to a different product. So there are 4 products, 50% off. They are a random selection. And those are under the sales category under daily deals. If you guys cannot find it, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to send you guys the link. That is all for me today. I did have in mind what I was going to do next week, but now I can't remember. When I remember what I was going to do next week, I think it may have been Paper Rose or Craft Consortium, or maybe both. But we'll see what happens before then. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Take care, everyone. Bye. Oh, actually, before I go, next Friday, I'm moving out, so I will not be here. I will be moving out of my parents' house. Bye-bye, Mom and Dad, or Dennis and Anita. I am very excited, obviously. I mean, I love my parents, but I work with them every day. So I will not be here Friday, but I'll be here Tuesday and then the Tuesday after. So just a heads up, you won't see me next Friday on Creative Connection. So, because I've got big things going. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.